Okay, guys, I hope it's working. It says it's recording. All right, welcome to my kitchen. So let's do some tea dyeing. So what I do is put probably about 4 or 5 tea bags in an old baking dish, and I put in, I've made like a little parcel out of cambric, and I filled it with tea leaves, like real dinky dye tea leaves. I use King tea, probably about a tablespoon, and it just adds that extra oomph to your water. Alright, I prefer to do room temperature rather than hot, because I find hot water, I don't know, just does something weird to the paper. And I use 90 GSM. It's just a little bit thicker than the average, what you call it? It's copy paper. Okay, so what I use to put my paper on, let me just put some gloves on, because it is going to get messy. You think I would have had them on first, wouldn't you? Okay, they're all wet. Alrighty. Let's get a new pair. There we go. So I'll just put the gloves on the hand that I'll be dipping into the water, just so I don't go yellow. Alrighty. So as you can see, I don't know whether you can see, it's fairly dark tea. So I just put a couple of pages in, let them sit there for a minute or two. I'll chuck in this other one. I love tea dyeing. It's very relaxing. I get into the zone and I procrastinate and I think about all the things I should be doing, could be doing, will be doing, etc. Alright, now the tray I'm putting them on is, it goes in the grill underneath your stove. I don't use the grill in the oven, so this may as well become a craft tool. That's what, anything that doesn't get used, as far as I'm concerned, is open slather for craft tools. So this is a craft tool. An old baking dish now is a craft tool, because I have one of those convection ovens, like those little round ones, so I don't need to clean huge ovens anymore. So that now is a craft tool. Let me just put some glasses on so I can see what I'm doing, and let's go. Okay, so with the lines, I place the paper on it. I'll just grab one that I've done previously. So when I put them on here, you can see that it leaves lovely lines on the paper. I do have paper packs for sale in the Etsy shop. I don't normally put these in because it's not normally a lot of people's cups of tea, so I try and leave these out. So if anyone wants particularly lined pages, please let me know and I'll pop up a listing for you and reserve it for you if you want lined pages. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Alright, so let's do this, guys. Alright, so I'll lay it this way. So there's 1, 2, underneath my paper, under my tray, I have deli paper. Oh, that's just made a mess in there. deli paper so it catches any drips apart from when I want to spray it through the kitchen. Yeah. But anyway. So I'm really enjoying making these journals, guys. Like I said, I've forgotten how fun it was to actually do one, so it might get my bottom into gear to make some more. Okay, I'll just do one more layer across, and then I want to put some lined paper from my son's old exercise books on there. Okay, if I can find them. So these are year 3-4 papers. Just out of old books that he no longer needs or uses. And it's very thin paper. Oh, please tell me that's not a visitor. Oh, it's the husband home. It's the husband home. Making the yappers yap. Alright. So this is very fragile. So, let me put this on here. Now, in theory, this red lines should come off onto the bottom page a little bit. In theory. Hello, husband.
It's just not someone, it's your husband.
It is, it's my husband. Home from a trip. Where did you go?
Marella
Bar, wherever that is. It's up
Gladstone, turn left.
Gladstone, turn left. There you go. That's where he was. So he's home now for about 9 hours, and then he's off again. So he's now called this Hotel Kales.
Kale Ifonian.
Okay. So he's booked a room for the night, and then he's off again.
9 hours.
So, just put a couple more of these in. And I want to do some grid paper as well.
Yeah, another bit of plastic you can use.
Thank you. He's given me all his old cards to use for my paint. Okay. Once again, very thin paper. It's just out of a school exercise book, so I've just got to be very careful that I rip it, which I probably will. Alright. Some of that happening as well. So as you notice, I don't leave this one in for long because it will fall apart. And I knew I'd do that. Alright. What are you after, a cup of tea?
Well, I don't know, you seem to have all the tea there.
Not quite.
My love.
I've got a very strong cup here with bits in there.
Oh yeah, I'm staying tea up in there.
Alright. The floaty bits in the water here are just, if you can see that, they're just from the tea leaves. So I just layer and stack. Until I think I've got a pile big enough, and then I put it in the sun and then we go from there. And I normally try and put a couple of doilies in as well while I'm going, so that way when people buy paper packs I can stick a few doilies in there for them. And I'll put a bit of darkness on them. There we go. So that's what the cup's for, if anyone was wondering. So that's the process, guys. So what I'll do is I'll continue putting this on here, then I'll whack it outside to dry, and then I'll bring it back in, and then I'll show you what I do from there. Okay. Alright, back again. Papers are semi-dry, so now I get my little handy dandy heat tool and I go over the pages. Now this is where I get in the literal zone. It's like Mr. Miyagi, you know, wax on, wax off, wax on, wax off, you know. It's kind of a bit like that, guys. So every time I lift up a piece of paper, it's a surprise. Look at that yumminess. Look at that. So that's the process I go through. I stack my papers and then I semi-hand dry them because the sun does most of the work. So they're nice and crinkly. This one here tore a little bit, but that's okay. Look at that, guys. Look. See? Yum. So I'm not sure how many sheets are on here. I just kept going. I actually love this part. So like I said, I do sell excuse me, tea-dyed paper packs on Etsy and my website. If anyone's wanting any particular sort, just let me know and I can make you up some specially and make you a listing. Oh, look at this one, guys. Look. You see that? How nice is that? So of course these ones here will take a little bit longer to dry because they're further down the pile. But I will keep going, and when I get to the red lined ruled paper, the year 3-4 paper, I will show you the effect it has on the copy paper. Alright, so I'll keep doing this and I'll come back and show you that. Okay guys, I managed to get a couple of lots of paper done. Nothing went to plan today. Hubby come home, the child's home from school. Hi. Hi child. So now I'm in the process of cooking dinner, but I did get a good pile of stuff, or papers, done. So, thought I'd come on. There's our doily prints. I'm trying to find, I don't know whether you can see, but there's fine red lines on there. from these year 4 pages or 3-4 pages. So yeah, there's some of that yummy stripe. Like I said, there's normally 1 or 2 stripes in each batch because they're the bottom layer. So anyway guys, that is the process. That's what I have been doing on and off today. Oh look, there's, I don't know whether you can see that. That's, yeah, I think they turned out lovely. See if I can bring it up closer. There we go. So this is how I tea dye my pages. I dry them in the sun. I've done like I said, I've done a couple of loads today. Loads. And the sun didn't help because it was raining on and off today, but I managed to get it dry. So these are ready to go for our journals. Gee, I love that one. That's beautiful, that one. Okay. I even managed to cook us some bread, guys. We're going to have bread and tea, but unfortunately I had a big chunk earlier because I was hungry. This tea dyeing's hungry work. So I made paper, I made bread, I've cooked rice, and now I'm cooking dinner. We're having a chicken and vegetable casserole thing with rice. So that's it for now, guys. The next part of this video will be me putting the inside covers of the journals, and I also dyed some cambric today in various stages within the tea, so I did that. So yeah, so the next process will be putting the covers inside the journal covers.
Hello.
And then it will be putting in the papers. The bulk of this will go down because, you know, they're going in the journals. I will be ironing them and squashing them. So over the next couple of days, the bulk should reduce a little bit. But I hope you've enjoyed this process, and I will see you when we do the inside covers. Hi guys, so we've tea dyed our papers. I'm just about to cover the inside of the journals. I've cut another little template that's a little bit smaller than the actual journal itself, and that will be the size of our inner lining of our book. So let me grab this one here. I've already marked them out on here just to save some time. So now it's just cutting them out. So I'll just grab my board here. And let's hope for the best. Actually, I'll do it towards me. That way I can see. Even with glasses, I'm blind. Alright. So I'll just cut that. And that. So I'll do a few of these, maybe one. If we've got time, I'll do 2 with you. And then we will move on to the next step. So I save these bits because I use them to revamp my envelopes with or other mixed medium. Right, let me, don't cut that. This is just one of my old timesheets with nothing on it. It's from 2017, this one. Alright. Oh, it's a little bit in, but that's okay. All right, so there's our two done. So they should fit in here just nicely. Look at that. All right, so let's glue. Let me find, let's get some water, a paintbrush, Mod Podge. I did see that earlier. I will use Mod Podge for the inner the book. Need a new jar. I don't have much left. All right. So I just give it a kind of a generous coat, just so every little bit of it's covered. Especially in the crease there. And then I'll go that way and back that way. So yeah, every bit of it now is covered. Get rid of that. Is that the right way? Yep. Alright, so while it's wet and you can move this around, we'll position that. And that looks great. Yeah. There we go. Now I just need the cards. Get into those grooves. Not too hard because you don't want to rip the paper because it will be compromised because of the glue. So you just go easy on it. You can run a brayer across it if you so wish. I wish I could find my other brayer. I've lost my good brayer. I don't know what I've done with it. So you can use a brayer. I prefer to use a card for these because it gets right in and it smooths that glue out. So if there's anything stuck underneath the page, it will come out. Or any glue under there, I should say, underneath the paper. Okay, I hope you can hear me, guys. I don't want to talk too loud. Okay, so I'll just give that a crease and hold that into place as I crease so it doesn't lift. Just making sure that's down. And as you're aware of the first one, these are my jelly prints that I have done. So they are now part of this cover. So there we go. That's that one done. Now for the other one, same thing. Just dry my paintbrush off. I've got the fan going. I hope it's not interfering too much with the audio. It is a little bit hot here now. Winter's technically over. I think we're going to skip spring and move straight into summer. So just make sure that, like I said, you coat every bit of this because that way the paper won't lift anywhere up there. Should do it. Just make sure I'm in screen. All right. Go back that way. Just get rid of most of that. Okay, let's put the lid there. Where's this other piece? So while that's still, actually, I might put it this way. Yep. I'll move that in and settle that in the right spot. Yeah, that looks good. Right. See how it comes out. Ugh. And that's just from the paint. That I found that tie-dye paint. It's lovely. The colours are vibrant, but it doesn't set. So I might have to experiment a little bit more with that paint. For this, I've had to spray the front cover with lacquer, with a spray varnish, before I could put the napkins on, because the paint was smearing and running. So like I said, even though the colours are great, yeah, I'll have to, don't know, have to experiment and work on that. Okay, so that should have gotten out all of that major glue that's under there. I'm going to crease this, make sure that's a bit of an air bubble there. Oh, not air bubble, glue bubble, I think you'd call it. Let me just slowly move it towards the side, and there we go. So like I said, you don't want to compromise your paper because it will be a bit fragile because of the glue. Alright. Just get my brayer and go over that. Make sure that's pushed down. Okay, so there's our two covers of these done. So what I will do is I will continue on with the other books, and we'll move on to the next step. Okay, be back soon, guys. Okay, now I'm going to cut some paper for the signatures. So I'll just grab a piece of my tea-dyed paper. So what I do is fold it in half. I really need new glasses. Oh dear. One day. Alright. And I just cut it with, you can use a cutter, I suppose, cutting board, scissors. I just use my letter opener. I mean, after all, it is a junk journal, so, you know, you've got to have a little bit of raggedy in there, I think. So we just cut this into quarters, and that's technically your page. I will have to cut a little bit off because I did make them a little bit narrower. So I'll just... cut that. Now there is a piece here that is the right size. So I'll grab that. And I will go by that. So what? So just grab my handy dandy little guillotine here. And we'll cut this little bit off. That down here in my scrap bucket. All right, so there's that. I need some of this. This is just graph paper. I'm pretty sure it's a centimeter graph, roughly. Yeah. So I need 4 of these. So I'll make a signature with you guys, and then I will go ahead and do the rest. Just save some time. So because this is graph paper, it doesn't really matter what direction you cut it. So there's that done. So now I grab my original piece. Do the same thing, cut them to size. Doesn't matter if it's not exactly perfect. So there's that. And we'll also grab a year 3-4 exercise book paper. Now because the lines go across, what I need to do is keep the lines going the right way in the book. Does that make sense? I mean, you don't have to, but I like to. So what I'll do is, now I fold this in 3s. Okay. Yeah, roughly around there. You find that once you wet this exercise paper, it buckles because it's very thin, so it will buckle, but that's okay. Adds to the character of the signature. So I just slit down each side. Do the same thing. Cut them to the same size as that. See, they're a little bit narrower, but that's okay. And then you've got nice paper to add to a little notebook, or to make a little notebook. There we go. And I've broken that somehow. I don't know how I've done that, but I have. All right. So now we have our papers cut. Excuse me. I do like to alternate between the papers. So I do one plain, one graph. You can add as many or as little as you like. I'm doing 6 pages. to a signature. So all up, what's that, 96 pages front and back per book, the entire book. So that's not too bad for a little journal. Alright, so I do 2 there, one of these ones, and another one of our plain. So there we go. So there's our signature that fits inside our little books. So, like I said, I've got one plain, I've got the graph, plain, plain, aligned, excuse me, aligned page, and plain. So I'll put 4 of these signatures in here. So all up, that will give us 96 pages altogether. So I will continue making these, and once I've got a nice little pile, I will come back and we shall put them inside and do the binding. Okay, I look forward to seeing you.